Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, donuts and munchkins. I forgot what I was going to say there for a minute, but donuts and munchkins, I'm trying to incorporate that in. Hopefully it sticks. Hope you're doing well today. Thank you so much for tuning back into Eat the Donut. We're back with another episode doing these weekly uploads. Hopefully you are enjoying them. And if you are enjoying them, make sure you leave a good old 5-star review and maybe take it a step further and leave a nice written review as well. And I'll tell you, I would be greatly appreciated of you, and it would mean the world to me. But today's episode, we are going to talk about one thing on why individuals, maybe specifically yourself, struggle to stay consistent with your training and your nutrition. And it's going to be a little bit more on the mental mindset of things, the way you sort of think about things, the way you approach things, what you maybe need to focus more on when it comes to losing weight, changing your behaviors, because that's what really fat loss is. You know, a lot of people will say, you know, you need to be on this specific diet. You need to be doing this specific workout. This will melt the body fat right off you. You need this supplement in order to lose weight. Where no, you don't. Really, the reason where you are at today, everything in life, like where you're at today, is this combination over the years of the decisions you decided to make and the behaviors that have developed over time. So when we are trying to lose weight and trying to lose fat, what we're really trying to do is change some of these behaviors, because physically the choices you've been making, the way you've been behaving, is why maybe you have an extra 20, 50, 100 pounds of fat. So those are coming from your decisions, maybe your mindset, your behaviors. So we want to work on changing those things. Yes, again, the education is important. We do need education. But when we put it into perspective of, yeah, we kind of have a good sense of what we know we need to do, but we don't know why we're doing it. That's where the challenge lies. When we dive into that, maybe we're focusing on the wrong areas. Maybe we're struggling because of our stress management. Our emotional regulation isn't up to par. And so as we know, we need to work out a couple times a week. We got to get our steps in, eat our fruits and vegetables, eat our protein, all those things, manage our calories. There's probably reasons on why we're not doing it. Stress management, right? Like maybe we get stressed out with the combination of kids and work and relationships and just life going on, where we always end up choosing food to help us feel satisfied, to help us feel happy, to help us relieve some joy, to bring some pleasure into our life. Where maybe beforehand, and one thing I always like to talk about, I think I mentioned this on an earlier podcast, but we tend to look at these behaviors as bad behaviors, but the reality of it is maybe these were once good behaviors for us. Because maybe in a time of life, a phase of life, what these behaviors of having the food was to protect you, was to help you get through a traumatic scenario. So they've been, again, ingrained into us, but now they're not really serving us. Now they're actually impacting us from living a higher quality life to living a longer life, to having that longevity. Because if we keep up with this, it's actually going to impact our health. It's going to impact our longevity. So not to scare you or anything, but this is something we definitely just want to address and make sure we take some actions on. We start to work on making some progress in these areas, in your health, in these behaviors, so you can live your happily ever after. It's what I always like to say, like the goal of fat loss is to achieve fat loss freedom, mentally and physically, and to live a happily ever after. And just have these habits so ingrained into you, so second nature in your lifestyle, and your confidence and your self-efficacy is so high that you know what you need to do. You know you can still enjoy the fun things of life, the flexibility of life, but also you're taking care of business. And it feels pretty confident. Like you feel pretty confident with your ability to do that. That's the freedom right there. Like the confidence is high, yet you're still enjoying life. You have found that Goldilocks zone, that Goldilocks approach that works well for you. But anyways, we'll dive into a good old topic today, talking a little bit more on maybe where you're focusing all your time and energy. This might be even more of like a tough love podcast, and where we actually want to shift our attention and our focus and our priorities. But before we get into that, so last week I mentioned doing a section on this podcast where I asked actually ChatGTP, what are the top 3 trending hot topics with fitness and fat loss each week. Maybe it's a little bit more pop culture. Maybe it's about a certain exercise, probably maybe a hot new supplement or whatnot. I don't really know, but I'm just going to ask it each week and just see what it has to say. So let me type this in. Give me the top 3 trending fitness, fat loss news reports over the past week. All right, here we go. Top 3 trending fitness and fat loss news reports from the past week. Lizzo showcases dramatic weight loss. So Lizzo proudly displayed her weight loss transformation during her last Twitch live stream. Cool. I didn't even know she was on Twitch, where she twerked, of course. Why wouldn't she do that? She twerked and showcased her slimmer figure, receiving compliments on her appearance, responded by highlighting her outfit and twerking once more. They like to talk about twerking in this. But I guess she began her weight loss journey back in January 2024, so a little over a year now, and reaching her goal in 2025. She achieved this transformation. Wow, this is cool that it says this. Through regular workouts, healthy eating, and then just significantly lowering her BMI, which BMI is obviously is a helpful measurement, but it doesn't obviously just remind you, tell the whole picture. So definitely not against BMI. Again, I think it gives you a good understanding, but also know it doesn't tell the whole picture. Like my BMI is technically obese. So anyways, it doesn't obviously include muscle and anything like that. But in reducing her body fat by 16%, despite rumors, Lizzo denied using Ozempic, the type 2 diabetes medication for weight loss. So interesting. So it looks like she just changed her eating habits, got in some more movement, got in some more workouts, and really made such a transformation of losing 16% of her body fat. And what I really take away from that is it took a year, right? We overestimate what we can do in a month, in 2 months, in 3 months, but we underestimate so much in what we can truly do in a year. So I think this is phenomenal. Good for Lizzo. And I know people listen to this because I know Ozempic and the weight loss medications are a hot topic right now. I know people maybe question that. And I mean, it says that she doesn't, and I'll believe it. I don't really care, to be honest, because when it comes to weight loss medications, I'm actually not for or against it. I think it depends on the individual and if it is needed, because obviously some people do need it and it can be helpful and can really change their lives. But also there's the other side of the spectrum where people are looking for a shortcut as well. And the reality is, like, even coaching some clients who are on some sort of weight loss medication, where it does make sense for them to be on it, whether you're on it or not on it, like, the change of behaviors is still the approach, right? We're still trying to move our body. We're still trying to exercise, strength train, eat more whole foods, eat more fruits, eat more vegetables, eat more protein. Whether you're on it or not on it, that's actually still, that's a big point. You still have to make some changes to your lifestyle, right? Because it's actually kind of funny how many individuals will reach out to me and say, hey, I'm on this weight loss medication. I've lost 20, 30, 40 pounds. I don't want to be on forever, but I'm also scared to get off it because I feel like once I get off it, I'm going to gain it all back. And the discussion is, all right, what are you doing differently? Like, what habits are you doing differently? Well, I'm just eating less. Okay. What about everything else? Well, I'm still kind of doing everything the same. Well, you know what? To be honest, like, there's a good chance it may come back because you didn't actually make many changes. Yes, you're eating less. That's from the medication. Then, yes, you're eating less. But if you're also not exercising, moving your body, learning how to manage your stress, learning how to manage your emotions, which were the problem in the first case, then we actually never changed. We never actually made changes. So there's a good chance that things will start to come back. Old habits will start to creep back in. So again, whether you're on it or not on it, just understand there's things we still have to work on. There's things that still need to change. In order for change to happen, changes have to happen. Changes have to happen with our habits and our behaviors. I'm not for or against it. I think it can work phenomenally for some people, but either way, just know that there has to be lifestyle habits, lifestyle behaviors that end up needing to change in the long run. But just know that whether you decide to go on it or not on it, that there has to be some changes made just to your lifestyle. All right, second topic here. Lisa Dove's weight loss journey. Embracing holistic measures of weight loss success. So Lisa Dove's weight loss journey. Who's Lisa Dove? I have to look her up. I don't know who that is. Emphasizes the importance on focus on overall well-being rather than just the scale. This is a great article already. I love it. After struggling with weight gain during her motherhood and the pandemic, she found success through small, sustainable lifestyle changes. Oh my God, she's speaking my language. Let's go. This included regular walking, mindful eating, which led to her to lose nearly 150 pounds. Let's go, Lisa. Great work. Experts critique I can't talk right now. Experts critique the diet culture's unrealistic expectations, which often lead to shame and failure. Failure and shame. I'm dyslexic, guys, so I mix up words all the time. True health encompasses more than weight. Improving sleep, energy levels, blood sugar, cholesterol are all vital too. Overcoming barriers like stress, busy schedules, food costs involves practical strategies such as planning realistic goals and finding support networks. I love this. Ultimately, a balanced and healthier lifestyle promotes a fuller, happier life beyond numbers on the scale. I absolutely love that article. Or it's not a full article, it's just sort of a breakdown of it. But I think they nailed it. Sometimes, pardon my French here, but we have to say fuck the scale. The scale doesn't tell the whole picture, right? We want to look at the big picture. We want to look at how your energy is, what foods you are eating, your daily movement, your stress management, your sleep, your energy levels. All these health markers involved too. Because if those are making progress, even if the scale isn't moving, you're becoming a healthier, living a higher quality life and adding years to your life, which is incredible. And I believe a lot of times, this is just focusing on the process versus the outcome. If you put your attention to trying to get stronger in the gym, trying to get more conditioned in the gym, trying to get in more activities throughout the day, work on having better energy through your nutrition, eating more whole foods, trying to improve your health markers, improve your sleep. When you put your attention on those actions, one, those are the things you can control. You can't control what the scale's going to say. You can't control that number. I think so much we put so much attention on the scale day to day where it is going to fluctuate. It is going to go up and down. And it causes this mental battle. And the days we see it creep up or stand still for a couple days or a week, I've even seen it upwards of like 3 to 4 weeks, doesn't mean you're not making progress. But that's when we end up quitting. That's when we give up because we feel like what we're doing isn't working. When if you just stuck with it, if you just kept going, KFG, keep fucking going, it was going to happen eventually. Like the scale will move eventually. But the other thing is, like, if you're making progress, like all these things are getting better, maybe even progress photos are getting better, measurements, clothes are fitting a little bit looser or more comfortably. You're changing your body. You're physically changing. You're becoming healthier. You're losing fat. So there's a big thing there with like, there's a difference between weight loss and then fat loss. Ideally, we're all trying to lose fat. Like if we had this sort of image of what we wanted to look like or what we strive to look like, and that said, 250 pounds, 300 pounds, we probably wouldn't care what the scale said because we work towards this like physique we're trying to attain and we can see ourselves getting there. And on top of that, again, energy's a lot better. You feel yourself getting stronger. You feel yourself building some muscle. And you're also doing all these things with a busy schedule, like having a full-time job, 3 kids you got to take care of, 2 dogs you got to take care of, the life stress that comes out. And still enjoying life as it comes on by too. The birthday parties, the anniversaries, the holidays, the vacations, all that stuff. That's where you find your freedom. That's where you start living your happily ever after. And there's so much information out there that can lead to you feeling like you're failing and you feel shameful because you're not following these strict guidelines, these restrictive rules, which people are probably telling you not to eat the carbs, not to eat the sugar, not to have the seed oils because they'll make you explode. They'll basically kill you. They're using fear-mongering tactics to, guess what, probably have you buy their product, by the way. So you got to cancel out that noise. Again, this fat loss game, it's actually very simple. It is very simple. I'm not saying it's easy, but it is simple. We learn to manage our calories. We learn to eat more whole foods. We learn to move our body. We learn to manage our emotions. We learn to get quality sleep, prioritize sleep. We work on getting better energy levels, improving our digestion with just these simple tactics: walking, strength training, eating whole foods, prioritizing whole foods, and finding ways to do that most of the time. Not all the time, don't have to be perfect, but most of the time. All right, and then the last article they have here, going over to the top 3 hot topics from the past week. Expert tips for overcoming weight loss plateaus. Losing weight can be challenging for sure, especially when the body reaches its set point or resting weight. Influenced by genetics, hormones, lifestyle. All right. Dr. Charlotte from the Slimming Clinic and personal trainer Alastair Nicole, I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong, I definitely did, emphasized that the gradual, sustainable approach to weight management is essential. Key tips include adding nourishing foods, whole foods, instead of cutting out groups, increasing protein, incorporating healthy fats, rest and stress reduction are crucial as they affect the hormonal balance, appetite, and metabolism, tracking various health metrics, practicing strength training, managing calorie intake on a weekly basis, and developing long-term behavioral habits are recommended. Patience, self-compassion, mindfulness are important components for long-term weight management success. So a lot I love here, a lot here. Slow, sustainable, patience, having self-compassion, being mindful, and focusing on long-term success with it. And the thing with genetics, I think it's an overused term in my opinion. That might get me to ruffle some feathers there. I'm not saying genetics are invaluable. I'm not saying it's not a thing, but the biggest driver is your lifestyle, your behaviors and habits. Been talking about this I almost said all morning, but this whole beginning of this episode. A big driver is your lifestyle. A good analogy I like that I believe I heard this from Susan Niebergall. If you don't follow her, she's a great follow as well. But I believe I heard this from her. And if I didn't, I'm just going to give her a shout out because she's awesome. Genetics load the gun. Your behaviors, your habits are what pulls the trigger. So it's like, yes, you might be dealt a tougher hand when it comes to your genetics. But when it comes to your lifestyle, your choices you're making, your behaviors, your habits, that's what's going to make the difference. There's also the story on this father who is an alcoholic and he has 2 kids. So yes, there is a chance, right, that the kids become alcoholics as well. One sees their dad as an alcoholic, so like, it's my genetics. I'm gonna end up being an alcoholic as well. Or you could take another approach. So one son also became an alcoholic, but the other son saw their father as an alcoholic and said, I don't want to be that. I can see what he does. I don't like that. I'm actually never going to drink a sip of alcohol in my life. And he goes on, never drinks alcohol, and ideally becomes successful and all that stuff. But you can see something and either just be like, you know what? This is what it's supposed to be. And you give in. Maybe it's the easier choice. So it's just going to go into our conversation today. This is actually a great transition into it. But maybe it's the easier choice. It's going to take less work. It's going to take less effort. So buck it. Just give into it. Or, you know what? It's going to be a bumpy road. It's going to be challenging. But I'm going to take the other approach because I don't want to do what I see here, what I've grown up seeing. And I'm not going to drink the alcohol. Yeah, it might be challenging, might be hard. Like, again, we're all dealt different hands. The hand you're dealt could be a hard hand to play with, but it's never impossible. It's just going to take effort, hard work, attention, and never giving up, right? As long as you never quit, you will never fail. So always keep going after it. All right. So hopefully you like that. We'll keep throwing those in, see the feedback we get from it. But let's dive into the fun part of today's episode. Big reason why you're probably struggling to stay consistent with your training and nutrition. Now, obviously, by maybe seeing the title of this podcast, that's why I assume you're maybe here. Maybe you are struggling with your consistency. So let's get into it. So a common thought process you and many others go through, because you are not alone in this, you have this idea of like what you should be eating, what you should be doing for workouts. And what's the hard part is like you're just not following through with it. And when it comes to achieving your weight loss and fitness goals, I don't care how perfect your plan is. If you are not consistent with it, you are not going to get results. You will not see results. And honestly, a poor plan done consistently, there's a poor fat loss plan done consistently, or a poor workout plan done consistently, will get better results than the most perfect plan done inconsistently. Always, always. I sound like Snape from Harry Potter. Always. So you just need to find a plan that works for you. Because the education, yes, I understand that may be necessary. We need to learn about protein. We need to learn about calories. We need to learn about moving our body. We need to learn about stress. We need to learn about sleep. But there's so much information out there that we have a good idea, a good sense of what we need to do. Again, move a little bit more, be consistent with it, train our bodies, eat more whole foods, eat more protein, prioritize our sleep. And the thing is, we know what we need to do. And if people just took that information and applied it, then to be honest, I would most likely be out of a job because they wouldn't need me. They wouldn't need the accountability. They wouldn't need the support. They wouldn't need that extra guidance. So if anyone ever just applied the things they knew and knew how to apply it and do it consistently, then everyone would be healthy. Everyone would be successful. But there's a reason why you're probably not doing the things, why you're having a hard time staying consistent with these things. And just even take a step back. Like I get, I know I mentioned earlier that fat loss is simple, but I also get how it's confusing because there is so much information out there. Isaac, the influencer, is telling you all this crazy stuff to take the fat burner, to try this 30-day quick fix, to take this cleanse, do this detox, do this fast, do this diet, and it's going to change your life. But here's the deal. What you're most likely doing is constantly seeking out short-term gratification versus delayed gratification. So for example, let's say you wake up at 5, 6 a.m., your alarm goes off, and in the moment, it's much easier to hit the snooze button and sleep another 10 minutes, then another 10 minutes, then another 10 minutes. So you end up sleeping in, not doing your workout you were planning to do in the morning, and go to work. And guess what? Work ends up being crazy busy. Your boss is being a jerk that day. Your coworkers are annoying you. And maybe you even get hardly like a second to yourself that it's so busy. That, after the day's over with at work, you eventually drive home, where you also, forgot to mention this, plan to do the workout after work. You woke up that morning, end up sleeping in, and you're like, you know what, I'll just do it later. I can do it later. Work ended up being banana pants. So when you get home, that workout you planned to do has now been thrown out the window. You just decide, hey, I'll go to the gym tomorrow. I'll do it again tomorrow. I'll try again tomorrow. And on top of this, since the day was so crazy and so busy and we don't have any emotional regulation, you end up eating a bag of chips for dinner. Probably there wasn't even a plan to begin with. Half a container of ice cream and eating all your kids' leftover. And guess what? This happens over and over again, day over day, week over week, causing so much inconsistency. And I get it. Like, you are busy. I work with hundreds of individuals who are busy parents, busy professionals, have a lot going on. But here's the truth. Like, if weight loss is your goal, if fat loss is your goal, if you really want to change your health and your well-being, we have to find ways to prioritize it. We have to find more intention behind it. And there has to be some sort of effort behind it. Again, I know it's not easy, but there has to be some efforts there. And to be honest, maybe it's not that you don't have time for it. Like, tough love here. Maybe it's not that you don't have time for it. Maybe you're just not prioritizing it. Maybe it's just not a priority that you are willing to put energy towards. Because guess what? It's easier and comfortable to just put it off, to ignore it. There has to be some sort of level of commitment and sacrifice to reach your goals. And again, I'm not saying you have to transform your life and absolutely flip it over to reach your goals. I'm not telling you to quit your job and ignore your kids to reach your goals. I'm not saying you have to spend hours on hours, day over day in the gym. So maybe you end up skipping your workout in the evening because you'd rather watch Netflix. Maybe you're not getting to bed on time because you're scrolling on your phone. Maybe you end up ordering takeout or going to grab fast food instead of eating a high quality meal at home. Maybe you decide to not take action today because you feel like you have to start on a Monday, but Monday is also 4 days away. So one thing I want you to start doing is asking yourself this question, and do it the night before or the morning of, ideally the night before, so you're a little bit more proactive and have a little bit more clarity on what to set as far as expectations for the day. What decision or decisions will make me proud of myself at the end of the day? When my head hits the pillow at the end of the night, what will I need to accomplish in order to feel like I won today? And like maybe another way to put this is like, what is the right decision that will get me a little bit closer to my goals than maybe the easy decisions I want to make? So take a step back out of this emotional situation and just be honest with yourself. The truth is, the right decision usually isn't the easy one. It's always the tough one, but it will be the one that gives you such gratification and such pride in accomplishment. That delayed gratification. It'll be the one that gratification just comes later versus right in the moment. Once you learn to delay your gratification in some of these moments and some of these behaviors and some of these habits, that's where you start to build self-efficacy. That's where you start to build more confidence in what you need to do in order to reach your goals. I always use this example of, maybe you get caught up going out on a Saturday night. The social pressure always gets you, where it's always easier to grab some drinks and to just indulge in some drinks. Where saying no is just so uncomfortable. Dealing with that social pressure, maybe someone's going to make some comments, and not knowing really what to expect. It's uncomfortable. It's hard. But say you make it through the night not drinking, and you wake up the next morning feeling refreshed, not hungover, and it feels great. The fulfillment you get from that is incredible because you did the hard thing. You delayed your gratification, and that delayed gratification does come. Like the gratification does come. It's just going to be on the side of working through some resistance. And I'll say this too, like to add on that example, it's like the first time of doing something uncomfortable, that's tough. Maybe it's going to the gym for the first time. Maybe it's not drinking in a social situation. Like it sucks. It's tough. But each time after that sucks way less. You just need to work through that first time. And when you do these things, like you fulfill what you said you were going to do, you are keeping your promises to yourself. And this is where consistency starts to become easier. Getting the ball rolling is hard. Keeping the ball moving and keeping it rolling is a lot easier. So we just need to work on getting that ball rolling and then keeping it rolling. So when you make a promise to yourself each day, what's it going to take for me to win the day today? Hey, it's going to take getting 5,000 steps for the day, getting my workout in, and following through with my nutrition. Hey, it's going to be getting my workout in, doing some journaling, some meditation for my stress management, and it's going to be hitting my protein target for the day. When you make these promises to yourself each day and each week to do the things you're going to do, and you also execute them, knowing they will make you proud in the long run and help you grow in the long run and grow as an individual and make progress, that's where you start making these badass results. So when that alarm goes off at 5 a.m., 6 a.m. for your workout, you keep your promise, knowing that in an hour or two, however long you want to work out, you are going to feel so much better about yourself if you get up, get that workout on versus staying in bed. When you don't want to cook dinner at the end of the day and you end up investing in just 15, 20 minutes, maybe 30 minutes of putting together this nutritious meal that aligns with your goals, because you will go to bed with the feelings of joy and pride, knowing you made the decisions that aligned with your goals, that's where you continue to grow. That's where you get the confidence. That's where you get that sort of internal motivation. And don't get me wrong. I know there's these feelings of the resistance. I know this is hard shit. That's okay. Practice it and start to be super mindful of it, because once you grow, once you become more and more competent with it, you will be so much more thankful of how much more you feel in control of your consistency and your ability to accomplish the things that you need to accomplish. So I just want you to remind yourself when you are in these moments where you're battling the easy decision, the comfortable decision versus maybe the hard right decision, take a step back, take a breath, big inhale, big exhale, like take some space for yourself. Give yourself 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes of just like chilling out, trying to sort of get out of that emotional head, and just ask yourself, what decision will make me more proud when my head hits the pillow at the end of the day? What will give me that pride? What will give me that satisfaction at the end of the day and get me even 1% closer to my goal? So think about those moments where delayed gratification is going to be the answer over the short-term gratification, especially in a world where short-term gratification is everywhere. We can binge a whole series on Netflix these days. We can get food delivered right to our door. Not only DoorDash, but we can get our groceries delivered right to our door. We can get a package delivered to our door within hours. So we're built in this world where short-term gratification is just always coming right at us. But when it comes to these important things in life, when it comes to like these big areas of our life, whether it's your health, your career, or relationship, it does take time. It does take practice, and the results will take patience. You don't get promoted at your job the first day of work. You got to put in time, effort over the years to get that promotion. To changing your body, to losing fat, it's not going to happen overnight. You're not going to lose all your weight overnight or in a month. And specifically, you'll make a lot of progress month over month. But when we're talking about that fat loss freedom, it's more of this mentality of just feeling so confident, having high self-efficacy in ourselves to take care of our health and take care of our well-being, but also having that flexibility, finding that Goldilocks zone, that balance between the two. Anyways, I hope this was helpful. If there's any questions on this, please don't hesitate to reach out. You can find me on Instagram at kpd.fit, Kevin Patrick Driscoll, kpd.fit. Always shoot me an email, kpd@kpd.fit. But other than that, I really do hope you enjoyed this podcast, and I hope it was able to create a lot more awareness for yourself and for you to start applying in those high, tough situational moments. But if you need anything, do not hesitate to reach out. I'm always here for you. I always, 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 always believe in you. Go eat the damn donut, and we'll talk soon. Cheers.